Ryan Vickers joins us down at turn 1 and 2, which is Duffus Dip and Leslie's. Ryan, what's it like, first of all, speed-wise over the crest of the hill into Duffus? And then what's so important about the first two corners at Knockhill?
Yeah, that's it. It's probably one of the only places where you come over the start, finish straight and actually get a little bit of air sometimes. It's fourth gear. You're probably doing about 150 mile an hour, sometimes fifth gear depending on the bike. And then as you come into turn 1, there's two really big bumps which you're braking really hard over. Back one gear to third. And you know, the turn 1 here is just about not running too wide on the exit, you know, for me, carrying good corner speed through the corner, setting yourself up nice for the left, which then sets you up really nice for turn 3. And yeah, it's a passing opportunity. You can make a pass on someone if you get the run out of the last corner. And it's a really, really exciting corner as it drops off the hill. But yeah, it's one of my favourite corners on the track.
And that's Ryan's view. If we now go across there, we'll have a look at your view. And what's the benefits of spectating from Duffus Dip and Leslie is this banking here. And what's so good about it? You see the bikes coming over the crest of the hill there, as Ryan told us, at huge speed. Back a gear or two, try and tip into the apex and watch the bikes flow through the next series of corners. There's a great spectating banking right the way around outside of Knockhill, and there's also toilets just at the bottom, so you're not too far away from the convenience area. You also get a great view of Clark's over the back there. But look, the track is just right there. It's not far away. Turn 3 at Knockhill, and well, we catch up with a man who's raced here in just about every single class. He's a legend, he's a veteran, Leon Haslam. What is turn 3 McIntyre's and into 4 Butchers like?
Yeah, it's quite technical. You know, it's one of those that you always want to enter a little bit faster, and it always knackers your exit up. So it's one of those you've got to be really smart as you're coming down the hill. Obviously being a little bit patient, getting right over to that left-hand side, and obviously you exit out of here. You can use all these curbs on the way out, which is pretty cool. You can obviously spin it up off of this. The next part, again, you really don't want to use much track through 10-4, so you're really trying to cut that curb on the inside, getting right over to the right, obviously to set that chicane up.
Is it an area where you can make a bit of time, or is it an area where you can lose time?
It's more of an area where you can lose time. The Yamahas work really well here because they turn really fast. But obviously, yeah, getting any other bike, it's a matter about getting the bike pointing where you want it to go. Obviously, if you're running that little bit deep, you're kind of pointing out towards the gravel, and obviously, yeah, it doesn't end well down here.
So there you go. That's Leon's point of view from on track, but you guys, well, you'll be watching from just over there. So from Duffus Dip all the way down through Leslie's, McIntyre's, Butcher's, up to the chicane. What's not to like about spectating in this point? It's like an amphitheatre. You see absolutely everything. And as Leon's just told us, it's so important to get this whole section lined up and correct. You can lose so much time here, but you can also gain it if you get it absolutely spot on. There's some food places just round the corner. There's toilets very close by as well. It's a great place to spectate from. You can even see them disappearing out of sight past the campsite towards the Hairpin. That brings us to the chicane, one of the tricky technical sections of Knockhill. Glenn Irwin, how fast do you approach it? How technical is it? How important a corner is this?
First of all, yeah, it's one of the most important corners in the track. Obviously, Knockhill, very unique, quite smaller circuit with, I wouldn't say less passing opportunities, but the passing opportunities are harder to create. Key one's obviously into the Hairpin, but another one to be able to make a move is into turn 7, or it's where people like to try to pass you. So, you know, it's a flip side. The key to make that move or be defensive is to be good over this chicane. There's nothing like it in any other track we go to in the UK. It's nearly a bit more like what you get at a road race or whatever. So important. On the approach to it, you'll see blue and white curb. Red curb was added a few years ago. It's sort of like a track limits. The ideal line, I've been doing quite a lot of studying this week. I know Rory was incredible in Sector 2 last year. You know, obviously legend around here, despite being so young. And he just clips that red on the left. And I think if you just clip it, you get away with it. It's very blind. When you're going up, when you're over here, you can't see the curb on the right. So basically, we're going curb to curb. We try to avoid the track other than the crossover piece. By looking at what Skinner does, it's all of this curb, which I always try to do, and then maybe I've always tried to use all of this, but he maybe that takes too much slowing to do. Rory nails that, doesn't seem to really care where he lands over here, just touches this curb and drives. And again on the exit, blue and white curb. The curbs at Knockhill are grippier than anything you've ever ridden in the world. They're actually grippier than the track, and it is a high grip track as it is. So all that curb on the exit. When you get it wrong, you've come over it too quick, bike goes too light, and you're silent, you've waited. That's not good. When you get it right, you could watch an onboard and you're nearly on the gas. by mid-corner again. And so critical for qualifying this weekend. That's the key thing at Knockhill, again, with being a hard track to pass at. You got to qualify well, and this is one of the key areas where you can make time up. And it's all about being aggressive, precise, and on the gas hard, but not over-aggressive. But you got to be precise.
That's Glenn Irwin's take on it. Now, let's see what you guys see from just across there. At any point over the course of the weekend, if there's a superbike session on track, this is one of the must-stand places at Knockhill Racing Circuit. You will see superbikes at all sorts of angles leaving the chicane, using that exit curb and accelerating up that back straight. They will be sideways, they will be smoking and spinning tyres, and it is absolutely jaw-dropping stuff. It's also another great place to stand and catch the exit of Butchers, McIntyres. You can see the first corner and the run to Clark's. It's like a proper little amphitheatre here, and the banking itself is quite high at the actual back. Great walking spot right round to Clark's. Make sure you're here. Make sure you take in a superbike race or session from here. Clark's, turn 6, or is it turn 7, Jason O'Halloran? But either way, it's quite a fast entry and it's an important exit as well.
Yes, super important corner on the circuit because it lines up probably the best passing opportunity down at the hairpin that we have. So really tricky corner, a little bit rolly on the way in on the brakes, then it goes uphill as you turn in. Curb's quite high on the inside as well. Got to be a little bit patient because it wants to drag you in and pick the gas up early and use that curb on the outside of the track, but really you want to be a little bit off that to line yourself up for a good drive down to the hairpin. So tricky corner to get right. Again, lines up a really big run down to the hairpin, which lines up the best passing opportunity. And you've also, when you come around here, the track sort of starts to roll as you get around. You're clicking gears on the superbike, 3rd, 4th, 5th gear, things spinning. You've got to be brave, to keep the throttle open, but also keep the bike controlled. So you're always playing a balancing act here. But satisfying part of the track when you get it right.
Are you hanging on round there?
Yes, you're very much hanging on, especially in the 30-lap superbike races. The bikes get a little bit wild around here. As soon as the bike starts to spin, you need to try and manage your tyre at the start of the race. And then towards the end of the race, you're obviously trying to gain positions or keep your position. So you're using whatever tyre you've got left. Exciting part of the racetrack and good place to watch from.
And that's Jason's point of view. And from just over there, that's where you can watch it from. Jason told us all about Clark's on track, Clark's off track, 2 big grandstands for you to spectate in here, and you really see the superbike riders start to work at getting the exit from Clark round towards the hairpin. Such an impressive place to stand and watch the Bennetts British Superbike Championship guys. But also, just behind us is the campsite. Look how close you can actually park to the racetrack at Knockhill Racing Circuit. If you're in the front row, you've been here since Thursday and you're here till Monday. And we find ourselves at the hairpin, the last corner, and we catch up with Mr. 136 mile an hour in the Isle of Man TT. Peter Hickman, I salute you for that. But the hairpin at Knockhill, a little bit different from the Isle of Man TT.
Slightly.
What's it like? How fast are you coming in here? Have you ever had any kind of little moments through the apex with other riders? And obviously the acceleration out here up the straight, key to it as well.
Absolutely that, yeah. Lots of moments, I can tell you that, throughout the years. First came here in 2004, actually, so 19 years I've been racing at Knockhill. Approaching to the hairpin around 150 to 160 mile an hour, something like that. I don't know exactly where the speed trap is, but it's a bit further back, I think. So we're still accelerating as we come through the speed trap. Speed trap's about 150. Yeah. Obviously, probably the most obvious place for overtaking on the whole circuit, so it's a really, really important corner. It's probably the most important corner here, not only for the entry and the fact that you can overtake, but also the exit leads you onto the only straight really that we have at Knockhill, although on a superbike it's not very straight anymore with the speed of them. But also you need a really, really good exit because you've got to get up that straight as fast as possible, and also can lead you into a good passing place into turn 1 as well. So probably the most important corner on the circuit. Lots of fans always up here. It is where the most action always happens. This is where all the passing is, particularly on lap 1. You can catch a few people napping if they're not quite on it. But yeah, really, really important corner. And also massive undulation, big incline in the middle of it, which you probably won't see off the cameras, and you definitely won't see it off the TV stuff. But actually, there's actually quite a big increase in incline as you come through the middle of the corner, and lots of different types of lines coming through here as well. You can have a nice wide entry with a big sweep and all the way through it, but obviously if you're doing that, you're leading yourself open to people coming up the inside. You can do the opposite, come in nice and tight and early, but then you're never going to get a good exit. So lots and lots of different lines, different bikes, manufacturers, riders, depending on exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it and what part of the race even, you can change as you go through.
Well, that's Hickey's eye view on the actual track, and he's given you every angle you need to know about. But what about if you're standing up there? What will it look like from that point of view? And that's Peter's point of view. For you, the spectator, the fan, this is another fabulous place at Knockhill. Like every other spectator area, you're so close to the action. You can see those last lap, last dives in towards Hairpin. There's also the merchandise area across the far side, the trade area. You're very close to the paddocks, which are open, and you can walk around and meet all the riders. And then it's a big drag up towards that checker flag, the all-important drag to the line. Will we see a photo finish in any of the races this weekend? Well, you have to be here to find that out. But head to knockhill.com, head to the British Superbike tab, pick up your tickets, guys, and come and join us this weekend. It is sure to be an absolutely fantastic weekend of Superbike racing at Knockhill. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days of action-packed track action only at Knockhill.